Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is running for re-election, or will be running in re-election on Florida, but he's using a very curious platform, pro-coronavirus. Interesting. Now, this is happening as the state is hitting daily cases close to 4 times the national average. DeSantis is selling merchandise that is anti-mask and anti-Anthony Fauci for some reason. All right, so now I want to show you a couple of examples here of merch that he is selling. Let's bring that up on the screen here. Don't Fauci My Florida. I don't even know if that's supposed to be clever. What is that supposed to mean? I don't get it. I mean, what? There's more. Okay. So here's a koozie. How the hell am I going to be able to drink a beer with a mask on? You drink it at home? I don't. Okay. All right. So now, again, this is him rolling out this merch as his state is seeing some of the highest coronavirus hospitalizations, infections, and deaths per capita in the country. As the Washington Post notes, while the merchandise is focused on Florida before the 2022 gubernatorial race there, DeSantis is also seen as a key potential frontrunner for the GOP presidential nomination of 2024. In fact, CPAC recently had a poll, straw poll, of who they wanted to see. DeSantis got about 26%. So that's obviously higher than all the others, which polled at 1, except for Donald Trump, who polled at 70%. So not only that, but a part of his pitch is the fact that he had resisted public health experts' call for stricter measures against the spread of coronavirus, spurring criticism on the left, which he loves, and praise from the right for keeping the state's school and economy comparatively open. While discussing the Florida budget this summer, DeSantis said his state's rosy financial outlook would not have been possible if we had followed Fauci. Instead, he said, we followed freedom. Freedom. Well, there's a cost to that freedom. Florida's death rate is almost double the national figure. Yeah, but you go off, King, about freedom. More like freedom to die, sounds like. But his campaign Team DeSantis Twitter account had announced a new merchandise earlier this week. The Fauci items are listed alongside Keep Florida Free hats and the koozies. But here's the thing. Okay, hey, you want to drink your beer without wearing a mask? All right, well, here's what we got to do. And I know it's going to be really hard, okay? But first, you get vaccinated. You encourage everyone around you to get vaccinated. And then, of course, if you're going to go out and you're in a crowd, mask up. It's real simple. It's two things. Very simple things to do. And that would allow the virus to eventually peter out. And, at worst, it becomes a recurring thing. You got to get a booster every once in a while, for coronavirus season, because we're basically at that point. Okay. But no, that's not going to happen, because first they refused to wear a mask and socially distance. They didn't do that. And now they refuse vaccines. Only 46% of Floridians are vaccinated. And now you've got new variants that are popping up that are even more infectious to the unvaxxed. Some of these variants even hit the vaccinated. I read a story earlier about somebody who was taking care of an unvaxxed person. She's vaccinated. She wore a mask. She was taking care of an unvaccinated person who she thought just had the flu. Turns out he had COVID. And then she got COVID. And there were some pretty serious symptoms. One of those breakthrough infections. And so understand, even though the COVID-19 vaccine is fairly effective, 88%, you can still get it because the Delta variant is actually even more infectious, 50% more infectious than the previous 50% more infectious variant. And that's was even more infectious than the original strain. And all of these new variants keep popping up. Now, we got Delta, then we're going to have the Lambda. I'm worried that Lambda is not going to be the worst of it. I'm worried that there's going to be a new variant that pops up that lowers the effectiveness or even eliminates the effectiveness of the vaccines to a significant point. That's a problem. But that's not even the main issue here, right? So what this is, for this story, it's more like the celebration of ignorance that you have on the right, where basically it's like, yeah, I got more people killed with my crappy advice. Yeah, get freedom. Get freedom. Well, it's like they don't even care about people that are infected, that are dying. It's because they don't. And I've done a lot of stories, by the way, of people who were influenced by people like Trump, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Tommy Lauren, Ron DeSantis, who, by the way, are all very likely, bet money that they've all gotten their vaccine already. We know, for example, everybody working at Fox News had to get vaccinated before they even got into the building. But these people are like, oh, well, yeah, I didn't know this was real. I mean, I didn't think it was this bad. I mean, I listened to Fox News and, there were even people who were saying with their dying breath that, I thought this was a hoax. Weird. So what Ron DeSantis is doing is virtue signaling. And that's what it is. It all ends up being a virtue signal so we can sell more merch, make more money to fund his campaign so he can win again and keep power. That's what it is. And what's funny is that he's also saying, without actually saying it, I know you're stupid, and I know you're going to believe whatever I tell you, so I'm just going to yell freedom. I'm going to ignore the actual experts, and I'm going to boast about it. And that's why, if you're not dead, you'll vote for me. At least until you end up on a ventilator, but hopefully you'll vote before you end up on that ventilator, so it still counts. There's one more disturbing component of this, by the way, that goes along with the virtue signal. And that's, of course, the focus on Dr. Fauci. Here's the thing. Dr. Anthony Fauci was not controversial for a very long time. He's served in the government over what? I don't know how many presidents. 7? But then, coronavirus, and he gets cast as a political figure. Now, I think at first, I'm not sure who did this first, with the right wing that was attacking him, or the left wing that suddenly, lifted him up as like a hero. Okay? Now, look, when libs do that, like what they did with Robert Mueller and then Fauci, drives me crazy. Drives me up the wall. Like, the guy's not a hero. He's just doing his job. Like, just let the guy do his job. And even Fauci's like, just let me do my job. This is weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? And so, but like, if the libs elevate somebody, of course, the conservatives are going to hate him instantly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he says. Doesn't matter what he does. If libs like him, conservatives by nature have to be against it. And that's it. And so that's what's going on. And I don't care about Fauci as a person. Again, I don't think he's a hero. I think he's doing the job that he was supposed to do. Whatever. And his job, of course, is to follow the science and what we know about the virus. And here's the thing, right? And so a lot of people will point back, oh my God, he was talking about not wearing masks earlier. It's back when we didn't know masks were all that effective. Now we do. And it's called science. Science is a process. Fauci, in fact, says that he and other public officials had, originally, like I said, not called on people to wear masks. Now they flipped the position as they learned more about the effectiveness of masks after initially fearing that the public would run out in a panic like they did with toilet paper and take all the masks away from healthcare workers. And so there it is. And so, yes, that does make sense. Not to try to create a public panic. Again, we saw that with toilet paper. Imagine how much worse it would have been for healthcare, professionals who are already having to deal with death and not having PPE. I remember those images of people wrapped in plastic trash bags because they didn't have enough PPE. Imagine if the public had gone and bought them all out that they did on toilet paper and hoarded it, essentially. I get it. And yes, it's true. He said at first that he didn't think that the masks were necessary. And then when he actually learned that they were necessary, okay, mask up. That's what you're supposed to do. So, again, it makes sense from a policy standpoint. Nonetheless, the focus on Fauci intensified after BuzzFeed and the Post obtained some of his early pandemic emails. The doctor was a target of criticism and derision. Also, at the CPAC, of course, where black and white video clips of Fauci talking drew loud boos from the crowd. Resistance to shutdown masks and vaccine promotions came up often at CPAC, whereas Fauci had called criticisms from Republicans, quote, bizarre. I've become for some reason or another, a symbol of anything they don't like, related to anything contrary to them or outside of their own realm. Well, that's all it takes. Republicans understand that they need a boogeyman. Anyone will do. They just need to point at somebody to hate. That's what it is. Blood for the blood god. That's it. They need someone to say he's the problem. That's the problem. Because honestly, Republicans have no solutions. Their solution is throughout the whole thing, right? Open up the country. We don't care about coronavirus. I don't care how many people die. I don't care how many people get sick. I don't care how many different variants pop up. We don't care. Open up the country. They literally said, old people should sacrifice themselves for the good of the economy. That's what they're saying. They don't care about this. They don't care. Again, this is why people like DeSantis, who are owned by the donors, big corporations, who had to justify keeping businesses open during a pandemic that ended up killing over 600,000 Americans. A decent chunk of that ended up being in Florida, from Florida. It's a good job. By the way, again, Florida, 45% vaccination rate. I think I said 46 earlier. So a correction on that. And hospitals right now in Florida are being slammed by, guess what? Younger people. Younger people in their 20s and 30s that are getting either really, really sick from the Delta variant or even dying. So, yeah. And yet, while that's happening, this guy is hawking ridiculous merchandise, which makes light of the whole thing and encourages people to not be safe. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.